Assalamu alaikum. It's Hafiza Ismail on day 11 of the 75 hard program that I'm on. I'll be completely honest, I knew that I needed to make this video today, and I thought I've absolutely no idea what I want to share. And then I thought, leave the video, just do your reading, and be authentic and just come on and talk to yourself as you have been doing for all these days. And actually what I was doing was in between that time I was reading the resilience factor. So this is a book this is my second book that I'm reading for 75 hard, because if you've been following me or watching these videos, 75 hard is a program with 5 critical tasks that must be completed every single day. There are 2 workouts, indoor, outdoor. Well, they could both be outdoors, but one has to be outdoor. The workouts have to be 45 minutes, not 44 minutes, not 44 minutes, 30 seconds. They have to be exactly 45 minutes. I mean, if you want to do more, sorry, still a little bit out of breath because of the asthma. If you want to do more than 45 minutes, that's absolutely fine, but there must be at least 45 minutes. You've got a diet, a very clean diet. So I haven't had any sugar, I've not reached out for chocolate, which is my kind of go-to when I want to eat my emotions. I've not reached out for cake, which again I love. Not reached out for any biscuits, they're just there. I accidentally do pick it up, which is really interesting. Like I might see something, I don't know, let's pretend there's a bar of chocolate here, and I might just go into the cupboard and I might just pick it up, and then I might actually walk. I've done this a few times. I actually walked inside the room from the kitchen to the room with my hot water. Can you believe it's not even tea, hot water? And then I realised, like, why have I got this in my hand? So it's almost like subconsciously I've been picking this stuff up and not even realising that, oh yes, I really want a bar of chocolate right now. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? So the more and more you do something, it just becomes subconscious. It was like you don't even realise you're doing it. And so it's not that I was really wanted to have chocolate. It's just that my body was like, oh, this is what we do, Hafiza. So then I've realised that I don't need it, I don't want it. And I've just put it back. So that was interesting. So what I was... I was talking about the critical task, workout, very clean diet, a gallon of water. I've got a little bit left in here to drink. What have I not mentioned? Reading, that's it. Reading 10 pages of non-fiction. I mean, this book is actually, I mean, you see the writing. There's a lot of reading. Which way is it? A lot of reading that's had to take place in this book. It's a really interesting book. But anyway, this is what I wanted to share with you, because this is what I was reading. There's a side title here, and it says, some people are overwhelmed by stress more quickly than others. So again, I'll read it. Some people are overwhelmed by stress more quickly than others. Dr. Suzanne Kobasa, a psychologist at the City University of New York, has been studying why some people who have lives that are rich in stresses fare better, that is, experience less stress and burnout, and get ill less often than others in the same occupation. And the bit that I was particularly interested in was that get ill less often, because as I've shared with you very honestly on these videos, I have been diagnosed with severe acute asthma. This week has been particularly difficult for me. I mean, I've done everything that I can with taking the medication, taking as much as I feel that my body's needs, but not completely relying on medication, doing everything else, feeling in control, being committed to long-term health, and accepting the challenge that, hey, I've got asthma, okay, doesn't mean that you have to be a victim to it. So that's like the mindset that I've had all of this week. So Dr. Kobasa has worked with thousands of executive and managers and has found that there are 3 critical factors. Isn't this interesting? Just wait till you hear this. Has found that there are 3 critical factors: control, number 1, commitment, number 2, and number 3, challenge, that differentiate those who are resilient to stress from those who are more vulnerable. So those 3 C's are control, commitment, and challenge. Two of those C's is something that I coach on. So when I'm coaching my clients on what is called the Charge program, this is a program that has been created. It's a 12-week program. It's absolutely phenomenal. And there are, these are the human drives that as human beings we all possess, we all have, and we all want to work, innately we want to work towards them. And one of those human drives is control, and the other one is challenge. So that I found that very interesting that Dr. Kobasa says that 3 critical factors, control, commitment and challenge, that differentiate those who are resilient to stress compared to other people. So then she talks about resilient people believe that they can directly influence the events that occur in their lives and translate their beliefs into actions. Interesting. Translating beliefs into actions. In other words, they believe they're in control. So I have to say, like, if I compare myself to the asthma symptoms that I've had, so I'm just going to talk about myself, the asthma symptoms that I've had this week compared to the asthma symptoms that I had last year, they were similar. Yeah, there's definitely similarity there, but there's just something, maybe it's part of the 75 Hard program. Maybe it's the fact that I know that, hey, Hafiza, you've been here before. You know where you don't want to end up. You don't want to end up in A&E, in hospital. They keep you for days on end and they have to do all these tests, etc. I'm not saying that if you're suffering, you don't go to hospital. Of course, I'm not saying that. But this time round, there is a belief that you're okay, Hafiza. You know what you need to do. You're in control of it. You know, you're committed to doing the 75 Hard program, and this is a huge challenge on you, this asthma, and you want to get on with it. You want to be able to look at that challenge and feel that, inshallah, God willing, I can handle it. So that's interesting, those 3 C's. So she talks about beliefs into actions. If you lack the ability to control what is happening in your life, or if you believe you lack the ability, you will feel more stress than faced with adversity. Makes perfect sense. I know this is common sense, right? You might be thinking, I know that, Hafiza, why are you talking about it? Well, I'm talking about it because common sense is not always common practice, as we share with our clients in the high performance world. Just because you know something doesn't mean you do it. So if you lack the ability to control what is happening in your life, or if you believe you lack the ability, you will feel more stress when faced with the adversity. Put simply, people who are powerless, even if it's just a matter of their beliefs, become victims, and victims get overwhelmed by stress. Boom, there, that's it. So victims get overwhelmed by stress. In contrast, people who take charge over aspects of their lives that are controllable thrive despite real life problems and difficulties. Resilient people also score higher on measures of engagement or commitment to what they are doing. For them, work is not just work, it's a source of meaning in their lives, and they are more likely to see change as an opportunity for growth rather than a stressor. And then it talks about Dr. Kobasa's research, and it goes into a lot more detail. So my question to you is in fact, it's a question for myself first, is that when it comes to different aspects of my life or your life, what are your beliefs surrounding that aspect of your life? Maybe it's a goal, maybe it's a desire, maybe it's something, maybe it's an ambition, maybe it's something that, maybe it's a health, maybe it's an issue, maybe it's a challenge that you're going through. What are your beliefs around that challenge, or what are your beliefs around that goal or the ambition that you're working on? Because if what Dr. Kobasa, the psychologist, says is true, that when you can translate your beliefs into action, so therefore if you've got positive beliefs, then you're going to translate that into positive actions, and as a result of that you're going to feel more in control. As a result of that you're going to feel more resilient. As a result of that you're going to feel like, okay, I'm not a victim, I can figure this out. Because when you do feel like you're a victim, and I know I've done that to myself plenty of times, when I felt like I'm a victim in a particular situation, or whether it's something to do with my health, you know, all these statements of, he actually said, you don't understand, Hafiza, this is what I'm going through. And by the way, I'm not mocking anybody when I say that. I'm actually talking about myself. The number of times I said to myself, oh, Hafiza, you don't understand, you know, I'm just so tired. You don't understand how much responsibility I have. You don't understand what my asthma's like, you know. So whenever I said that to myself, those beliefs, like you don't understand, is taking me to victimhood, which isn't allowing me to come out of that situation, isn't allowing me to be resilient. Yeah, got it? Yeah, exactly. I'm talking to myself here, but yeah. So yeah, I just want to ask you that. What are your beliefs surrounding projects, ambitions, goals, challenges, adversities, trauma? Because if you feel that you're unable to be in control, or feel that this challenge, you can work through this. And remember, when it comes to challenges, it's not always about trying to figure them out yourself. It really isn't. It's about often leaning into other people and saying, listen, you know what, this is what I'm going through. Can I speak to you? If you feel really vulnerable, or you feel like, I don't know whether I should or could, say to that person that, listen, I'm going through something in my life right now, and can I speak to you in confidence? And if you feel like, oh, I don't want to be judged, then say that to that person, like, can I speak to you in confidence? And can I feel just assured that, you know, when we talk, I don't want to feel like I'm being judged. Is that okay? Right? 99.9% of the time, that other human being will say to you that, yeah, this is in confidence, and yeah, of course I'm not going to judge you, right? Of course I will. Even if they were going to judge you, the fact that you've put those feelers out there and you've said that, I just don't want to be judged. I don't want to be judged about it. Can I speak to you in confidence? What you've done is you've created those boundaries, that this is what I need, or you've created that this is what I need right now. This is what I need, and can you show up for me like that? Can you show up for that? I've had to do that many times. I've had to do that with my kids. I've done that with my husband. I've done that with my dear mother. I've done that with my friends. I've done that with my siblings, right? Like, I want to speak to you about something, but I kind of feel a bit vulnerable about. I feel vulnerable, and you know, can I? Is it okay if you don't judge me? You know, I just want to be in a non-judgmental conversation. Are we okay to do that? Right? So you're asking permission, right? But you're laying the kind of rules of engagement there, and so you don't have to figure it all out yourself. So if you are going through some challenges and you're not sure how to figure out those beliefs, oh gosh, tightness of breath going on in here. Oh, asthma's a weird thing, you know. I can feel my heart beating really fast as well. So I'm gonna round it up now. Yeah. This is what happens. This is why, even when I've been coaching or speaking to parents this week, I've had to rearrange many of my calls where I've had a longer gap. So normally I might have like a 1 hour gap. I might have had to have a longer gap just so that I can just do the work that I need to do, to show up with my client and show up to the bereaved parent that I'm working with in a way that serves them the best, so that they're not having to listen to my shortness of breath and whatnot. So yeah, that's my question, you know. How are you coping with stress? And if you are struggling, right, then I'll tell you what would be really, really beneficial for you. Really, really, really beneficial, especially because it's the 10th of January now. And, you know, it's going to be the 15th of January before we know it. And it's like, whoa, that's the middle of January. People have set all these New Year's resolutions, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that in 2025. And then it's halfway through January, and they're asking themselves like, oh, but I didn't do it. What happened? So one thing I will strongly suggest to you is I'll put the link again in the description below. And what might be really helpful, if you fill out the strategy questionnaire, you don't even have to have a strategy session with me, but just fill that out, because those questions are so powerful, that they will support you to figure out where your stresses are, where your challenges are, where you're showing up and you feel like you're in control, where you feel like you're handling challenges to the best of your abilities, where you'll figure out what your commitments are. So definitely, call to action from this video is fill that strategy questionnaire in, because I think we all need it. I think we all need to hold ourselves to account. You know, we all need to give ourselves the opportunity of, I need to know where I am. Yeah? Okay, so this heart is beating a little bit faster than when I started off the call, so I'll wrap it up. Thank you so much for allowing me to be honest and vulnerable and share this journey. I really, really appreciate you showing up on these videos, watching them, commenting, sending me messages, filling out the strategy forms. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And this is definitely a really good book to read. It's a heavy book, The Resilience Factor. I mean, it's taken me a while to kind of work through it. I've still got a fair bit to read because I had to go back. I didn't understand all of it, so I've had to go back and kind of make sense of it. And what I will do, I've got my next book right in front of me, but I'm not going to share with you what it is straight away. It's a beautiful book, and it's even thicker, and the writing is the writing same size, same font? Gosh, it's smaller. The writing, the font is even smaller than this one here. So that's going to be interesting. Anyway, take care of yourself. Have a fantastic weekend. Well, I'm going to speak to you tomorrow anyway, but I'll speak to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.